to this yoga class to detoxify the body and also aid with our overall digestive system. So if you have overindulged a little bit over the festive period, then this class will be perfect for you. It is quite a strong class. We will be doing a lot for the core and all the muscles that surround the core, so also a bit for the legs, the quads, the hips, and also the back as well. So it is a full body workout, concentrating on those poses that really help to stimulate the digestive system and aid in that detox process. So you may like to have two props for this. I've got a block. You can use an old book, maybe some folded up blankets, also works fine. I've also got a yoga belt. You can use a rolled up towel, or maybe the belt off your dressing gown or something like that also works fine. So just place them to one side for now and make your way down to a seated position. Any comfortable seat for you. If you do have tight hips, you might like to sit on a block just to lift your hips so they're in line with your knees. And from here you can soften the gaze, maybe close the eyes, bring the palms of the hands to the knees, and then just start to bring your attention to your breath. Noticing where the breath naturally flows in the body. Maybe noticing the chest rise. Maybe noticing the ribs expand. Maybe even the belly as the breath enters, and then soften as it exits. Now see if you can start to concentrate the breath into the belly. Taking some deep, slow inhalations and controlled exhalations. Now start to move the chest over towards the right knee, and then bring the chest around towards the left knee, and then we'll bring the body back, rolling through the back, so we're drawing a nice big circles with the hips, with the upper body, starting to waken up the core muscles, the hips, the spine. And you can make these movements as fast or as slow as you like. And then switch directions. And then coming back to center. You can open the eyes if you like, if you haven't done so already. And on the inhale, we'll reach the arms up, stretching through the fingers. And then exhale, right hand to left knee, the left hand behind us. And the next inhale, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, gaze over the left shoulder. Inhale, come back to center, bringing the arms up overhead. Exhale, take it to the opposite side. And the inhale, straighten through the spine, nice long spine. Exhale, send it over the shoulder. The gaze over the shoulder. Inhale, back to center, one more time, both sides. Exhale, right hand to left knee, left hand behind. Inhale to lengthen, exhale, send the gaze over the left. Inhale, coming back to center, arms up overhead. Exhale, left hand, right knee, right hand behind, gaze over the shoulder. Inhale, come back to center, both arms up overhead. This time we'll send the left hand to the left side and bring the right arm up and over. Either coming onto the left hand, or you might like to come down onto the forearm. Or you might just like to make some movements here. Opening up through the side body, through the chest. Inhale, back up. Exhale, over to the opposite side. Right hand down, left arm over. Again, maybe coming onto the forearm. Just staying on the hand. Making some movements here. Inhale, coming back up to center. Exhale, one more time each side, left hand down, right arm over. Inhale, coming back up. Exhale over to the opposite side. Inhale, coming back up, bringing both arms down, just taking some shoulder rolls here, releasing the arms. Great. So we'll start with generating some heat in the core, so making your way down onto your backs, bringing the soles of the feet to the floor. We'll start with some dead bug crunches, let's call them. So we'll bring the arms up, so fingertips are pointing towards the ceiling. And I want you to just notice or start to really push the lower back into the floor, pull that core muscle in. So if you notice the lower back lifting off the floor at all, maybe just come out of it, reset, and then start again. We just want to make sure that the lower back is protected, and that means really pushing that lower back into the floor. So if you do feel it lifting, it just means your core muscles are fatiguing, and slowly over time you will build that strength, but just work with where you are for now, just to protect that lower back. So arms up, fingers pointing towards the ceiling, and lifting the knee or the feet off the ground. Knees are about over the hips. So this is where we want to make sure the lower back is really pushing into the floor. Pull that core muscle, the belly, in towards the spine. And then from here we'll start with the left arm and the right leg. So the left arm comes out behind us, right leg comes out long, pushing through the heel. And then inhale to come back up. Exhale, opposite side. Inhale, back up. So we'll just do this in our own time, making sure that the lower back is pushing into the floor, that you're really engaging those core muscles, and you're working with control here. The slower you go, the more challenging it can be, because it means that you're really activating those muscles. So see if you can work with control. We'll just do this for 4 more times. 2. And then the last one. And then drawing those knees in. We can bring the hands to the tops of the knees, maybe just draw some circles in one direction. And then the opposite direction. And then coming back to center, bring the soles of the feet back to the floor. This time we'll take some bicycle crunches. So hands come behind the head, interlacing the fingers, keeping the elbows out nice and wide. So when we do any type of crunches with the head supported, we want to make sure it is the core that is lifting the head, not the hands. If we use the hands, we're taking the effort away from the core, and we can also damage the neck. So just being mindful when you do that. So again, we'll bring the knees up so they are about over the hips. They do tend to want to come forward a bit, and I probably do the same, but see if you can just bring them out, so keeping them level there. Pull the navel in, keep that lower back pushing it down. And again, we'll start with the left elbow and the right leg. So on the next inhale, just bringing the chest up high, keeping those elbows out nice and long, and we'll extend the left leg out long and bring that left elbow towards the right knee. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, right elbow, left knee. And again, just making these movements nice, slow and controlled. That is how you get the most out of these movements, really start to build some heat in the core. And we're doing about 10 repetitions in our own time. Again, noticing if that lower back is lifting at all, if you can keep it pulling down. We've got about 4 more of these to go. Just see if you can stay with it. 1 more each side. And when you're done, releasing the head down, releasing the legs. Again, you might like to draw the knees in, maybe taking some little movements, rocking side to side. Great. From here, bring the hands behind the thighs. We're going to roll up and down the spine, making our way up, eventually to a seated position, but just rolling backwards and forwards, massaging the whole spine. And then making our way into a boat pose. So balancing on the bum, bring the feet out in front, hands can come out, palms facing forward. You can always just come up here if you like, keeping the back nice and straight. So this is also one of your options today. And we'll hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Crossing the legs. Bring the hands down to the mat and just come forward, making your way into a tabletop position. So bringing the shoulders below the wrists, the hips below the knees. Taking some movements here, so whatever feels good for you. Just continuing to waken up the spine. And then bring the left hand in front of the face. Inhale, reach the right arm up, open up through the shoulder. Exhale, bring that hand down, so back of the hand to the floor, and start to thread that arm, come down onto the shoulder, side of the face to the floor. Stay here if you like, or you can extend the left arm out long, maybe even reaching that left arm up, fingertips towards the feet, the ceiling, or you can rotate the palm so it's facing the right side of the room. Bend at the elbow and just make your way into a bind. Hooking the fingers, maybe pulling on the t-shirt if you're wearing a t-shirt, or just hooking them onto the hip crease. Inhale, slowly unwind the same way you came in. Bring the left hand down to the floor, push into the floor. Open up that arm again, right arm, and then placing that right hand in front of the left face, taking it onto the opposite side. So inhale, reaching the left arm up, fingertips up. Exhale, threading that left arm down under the right, coming onto the left side of the face, maybe extending the right arm out long, maybe bringing the hand up so it's facing the ceiling. Or if you want to take a bind, rotating the hand so it's facing away from you, bend at the elbow and see if you can just pull onto the side of your t-shirt, or maybe hook the fingers in the hip crease. And then on the next inhale, slowly unwind in the same way you came in, bringing that right hand back down, push into the hand, sweep that left arm up. And exhale, place it back down on the floor. So from here we'll move into a downwards facing dog. So just tuck in the back toes, checking your hands are under your shoulders, pull the navel in, lift the hips up, and then send the hips up and back, coming into our downwards dog. This is the only downwards dog of the class, so maybe taking any movement you like here. You can bend one knee at a time. And then come into stillness. We'll just hold it here for 2 deep breaths. And then start to walk the hands back slowly, making our way into a forward fold position. Bend the knees as much as you can as much as you like, to keep the back nice and straight. Again, you can bend one leg at a time, releasing the head and the neck, maybe shaking yes or no. And then push through the feet, reach the arms up and over. And exhale, place the arms down by the side. So from here, step the left foot forward, coming into a lunge position. Check your hips are in line with the front of the mat, so it always helps, I find it helps to bring the hands to the hips and just see where they are today and see if you can realign them. From here, rotate or pivot the feet so they're facing the long edge of the mat. You might need to readjust the feet so they're in line with each other. And then pivot the heels in. So the toes are pointing out about 45 degrees. Moving into goddess pose. So start to squat down, knees tracking over the toes. Tuck in the pelvis to keep the back nice and straight. And then bring the arms up into a cactus. So this is our goddess pose. Holding it here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then extend the legs, extend the arms. 5 pointed stars can feel quite nice for some people. And then exhale, come back down to goddess pose, tuck in the tailbone, pull the navel in. Pull the shoulder blades together so you're really opening up through the chest and activating the muscles in the upper back. 4, 3, 2, 1. Extend the legs, extend the arms, reaching out, 5 pointed star. And then last time, coming back down, goddess pose. Last time we're in this pose, so seeing if you can hold it for another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Extend the legs, extend the arms. From here, come onto the ball of the left foot. Rotate the hips so they're facing towards the short edge of the mat. Right leg is bent, so we've got a high lunge on the opposite side. You can bring the hips to just check the hips are parallel with the front of the mat. And then bring the weight into that front leg, step the back leg forward. Arriving at the front of our mat. Arms can come down by the side. So we'll be moving into our sequence now. You might like to have your props just to the side of the mat so you can grab them if you need. And we can either have the feet so they're hip distance apart, or bring the big toes to touch with a little gap between the heels. Arms down by the side. And we'll just start by lifting all 10 toes off the mat, noticing whether the weight is coming into just the heels, maybe the fronts of the feet, so we just want to make sure the weight is evenly distributed. Then placing all 10 toes back down. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, send the tailbone back, bring the fingertips down towards the floor, touch the floor if you can, keeping the hips nice and low. Inhale, reach the arms up. This is chair pose. Bring the palms together, draw them down in front of the chest. Going for a twist here, so sending the right arm to the outside of the left leg. And bring your gaze down towards your knees. See if your knees are in line. We'd have a tendency for our right knee to come forward slightly. See if you can just move that back. And then bring the weight into that left leg. See if you can lift the right leg and just send it back. So our legs are more in a lunge position. The front knee stacked over the left ankle, so maybe making adjustments if we need. Inhale, bring the arms up, back in a high lunge position, arms up high. Exhale, drop the back heel down, dropping the arms down to shoulder height, palms facing down, keeping the bend in that front knee, gaze is forward. So our hips are opening up to the side now. This is warrior 2. Rotate the front palms, that's facing forward. Drop the back hand down, and then just sweep that hand forwards, up and over, keeping a bend in the front knee for reverse warrior. Inhale, back up to warrior 2. Exhale, hinge forward. This time bring the left forearm down to the front of the left knee, keeping a bend in that front knee. Sweep that right arm over, or up, sorry. Fingertips can be facing towards the ceiling, or you can rotate the palms so it's facing forward and bring the arm across so you get more of a deeper stretch down the side body. Remember to keep breathing here. From here, this is where you might like to take your block, maybe placing it towards the inside of the left leg, and bring the left hand down, either resting on the block, or if you can reach the floor. See what feels good for you today. Now bring the right hand, so the hand that's facing up towards the ceiling, so the fingertips are now facing up towards the ceiling, palm out towards the right side, and start to straighten through that left leg, coming onto the fingertips of the left arms and moving into Trikonasana. You might like to use the block to rest your fingertips on. And again, notice if your left shoulder's coming towards your ear, and just see if you can open up there, so drawing that shoulder blade back, opening up through the chest. This is quite a strong pose, so if you need to drop your arm down at any point, you can bring your right hand to your hip. Now start to bend through that left leg, pull enabling, coming back up to warrior two, gaze forward. Exhale, bring that back hand forward, come onto the back, the ball of the back foot for a high lunge. If you're using a block over it, just move it to one side. And then exhale, bring the palms together, draw them in front of the chest. Moving on the next exhale, we'll take the outside of the right elbow to the outside of the left knee, coming down into our twist. Pushing into the hands to really deepen into that twist. And then bring the weight forward into that left leg and see if you can bring that right leg forward, keeping the hips nice and low. Coming back into our chair position, releasing the hands. And then pushing through the legs, reaching up and bringing the arms down by our side. So we'll do that sequence on the opposite side now. Before we do, we can just take a moment here. And inhale, reaching the arms up, gaze can be up. Exhale, bringing the hips back, so we're like sitting back on a chair, bringing our fingertips down towards the floor so we get nice and low, and then reaching the arms up for chair pose. Bring the hands together, draw them down in front of the chest, and on the exhale, sending the left elbow to the outside of the right knee for a twist. Checking our knees, making sure they're in line, maybe the left knees come forward, see if we can just draw that back. And then bring the weight into the right leg, lift the left foot up slightly and see if you can step it back. Maybe readjusting the feet. If you fall out of it, well then just gently come back into the pose, it's perfectly fine. Push into the hands to deepen into the twist, if you like. And then inhale, reaching the arms up for high lunge. Exhale, drop the back heel down. Keep a bend in the front leg, arms down, shoulder height. Notice whether the shoulders are drawing up here. See if you can roll them down the back and hold them there. Gaze out over the front fingers. Rotate the front palm so it's facing up. Drop the back hand down and reach forward, up and over. Reverse warrior. Inhale, warrior two. This time hinging forward, bring the front arm down. Sweep the left arm up, either fingertips up, or rotate the palm forward and rotate it up and over. See if you're beginning to roll forward here. See if you can really start to open up, draw those shoulder blades together. maybe grabbing your block or brick, or whatever it might be, placing it down next to the right foot if you need. And then from here, just placing the right hand down onto the floor, onto your prop. Continue to open up. Bring the left arm up, fingertips out towards the left side. And then start to straighten through that front leg, coming onto the fingertips of the right hand, using that prop to support you if you need. And gaze can be up towards the thumbs, the ceiling. Holding it here for 2 more deep breaths. And start to bend into that front knee. Engage the core, make your way up to warrior 2. Inhale, bring the back arm up. Hips are facing the front of the mat for a high lunge. Drawing the hands together, make sure you move any props out the way. Drawing your hands together into prayer in front of the chest. Then bringing the left hand to the outside of the right knee on the exhale. Pushing into the hands to deepen into the twist. Then from here, bring the weight forward into that front leg. See if you can lift that back leg. Keeping the hips nice and low. And then releasing the arms, keeping the hips down for chair pose. And pushing through the legs, coming up. Bring the arms down by the side. So we're going through that sequence again, but this time we will add on to it. So it might get a little bit more challenging, and you can stick with the option that's best for you. You may also, if you haven't done so already, maybe just grab your belt, place it in reaching distance. So when you're ready, just come into the front of the mat, feet hip distance apart or toes touching, big toes touching. Arms down by the side. Inhale to reach the arms up. Exhale, send the hips back. Fingertips to the floor, keep the hips low, chair pose. Exhale, palms together, draw them down in front of the chest. Exhale, send the right elbow to the outside of the left knee for a twist. Bring the weight into that left leg, step the right leg back. Continue to push into the hands, so deepen into the twist if you like. Either staying here, or you can try opening up the arms. If you've got the arms open, bring them back to prayer. And then make our way into our high lunge, arms up nice and high. Exhale, drop the back heel down. Keep the bend in the right knee. Arms down to shoulder height, palms facing down, gaze forward. Rotate the left palm up, drop the right hand down, sweep forward, up and over. Reverse warrior. Inhale, warrior 2. Hinge forward, bring that left arm down to the top of the thigh, reach the right arm up. Fingertips can face towards the ceiling, or you can rotate the hands so it's facing forward. Grabbing that block or prop if you like, bring the left hand down. And then from here, you can either stay here. If you want to try taking a bind, you take your left hand under the left leg. The right hand rotates towards the right side of the room, bending at the elbow and placing it down the back, maybe grabbing the hands if you can. If you can't grab the hand to make the bind, you can take your belt or towel and just placing it in one hand, the right hand, you can just drop it down and work here today. So that's your option there. So you can either stay here, working in this bind, or if you want to try taking bird of paradise pose, I'll instruct you through it. Give it a go. It's quite a challenging pose, so don't worry about it if you can't. If you fall out of it, it's perfectly fine. So you can also try this with a belt if you like as well. So I'll demonstrate with a belt this time and then without next time. So from here, start to bring the weight forward into the left leg. You might need to do this in 2 goes, so we're stepping the right leg forward towards the front of the mat. So maybe once, maybe twice. And then from here, start to bring the weight into the right leg. So really start to engage the muscles in the right leg. Come onto the toes of the left leg. And we're going to lift that left leg up. Maybe you're starting with the leg bent, with the left leg bent. Or you can start to extend that left leg out long. I'm not sure if I can turn around so you can see from the front. I might fall over now. So I'm still working towards a straight leg here, so just wherever you are today. And then when you're ready with control, placing that left leg back down. And then stepping the right leg back. So the right toes are out about 45 degrees. And from here, releasing the strap, using a strap. Bring the left hand down. We'll move into Trikonasana pose to start to straighten that left leg out. Come onto the left fingertips, open up the right arm. Again, maybe using your prop here to support the fingers. Maybe bringing the right hand down. And gaze can be up if that feels okay for the neck. Then inhale, making our way back up to Warrior 2. You might need to change the position of the legs a little bit. And then inhale, bringing the back hand forward, making our way into a high lunge. Exhale, bringing the palms together, draw them down in front of the chest. Moving any props out the way if you need. And then exhale, bringing that right hand over to the outside of the left leg. Pushing into the hands deep and into the twist if you like. And then bring the weight forward into that left leg. Step that right leg forward, keeping the hips nice and low. Inhale, chair pose. Exhale, extending the legs, reaching out through the fingertips before bringing the arms down by the side. So we'll do that on the opposite side now, and it'll be the exact same option. So maybe placing your props where you can reach them. Making our way to a standing position. Arms down by the side. Taking a few deep breaths here before we begin. Inhale, reaching the arms up. Exhale, sending the tailbone back, sitting into our chair, fingertips towards the floor and then reaching them up, keeping those hips nice and low. Exhale, palms together, bring them down, the chair in front of the chest. And then exhale, left hand to the outside of the right knee. Check in, our knees are aligned, maybe bringing the left knee back slightly. Bring the weight forward into that right leg, lifting the left foot and stepping back. Start to pushing into the hands, deepen into that twist if you like, or maybe opening up the arms here. Remember to keep breathing, nice deep, slow breaths. And then bring the hands back together if they're not there already. And then coming up to our high lunge pose. Drop the back foot down, open up the arms, palms facing down, front knee stacked over the ankle, gaze forward. Flip that front palm forward, drop the back hand down, sweep forward, up and over, reverse warrior. Inhale, back up, Warrior 2. This time hinging forward, dropping that hand down to the top of the thigh. Sweeping that left arm up. Maybe rotating the hand forward and just bringing it up and over. So if you like, you can bring the right hand down towards the floor. Maybe grabbing your prop to support you. Whichever option that you like to take. If you want to take your bind, then maybe grab in the belt if you're using a belt in your left hand. Bring the right hand under the left leg. The left hand goes up. Take the palm away from you, bending at the elbow and just bring it down the back. Or if you don't need a belt, then just trying to bind with the fingers. Keeping that bend in the front leg. So you can either stay here in this bind, or if you would like to try out a bird of paradise pose, and bring the weight forward into that front leg. I find it helps the balance to focus on the floor, but see what works for you. Then step that left foot forward to the front of the mat. Start to engage the muscles in the left leg. Come onto the toes of the right leg, and then slowly start to bring the right leg up. Maybe extending that left leg out, keeping the back nice and straight, core nice and strong. Actually, we've got room here with the wall, but just see where you are today. If you fall out of it, and then just see if you can come back into it. Doesn't really matter. And then slowly with control, place that left foot or right foot back down. Start to bring the weight into that right foot as you step the left foot back. Toes out 45 degrees, bending through that front knee. And releasing the arms. We'll move into Trikonasana, so start to straighten through that left leg. Come onto the fingertips of the right arm, and then opening up with the left. Noticing if that left shoulder is pulling towards you so you can open up. You can always bring the hand down to the hip as well. You're still working through opening up the hips and the chest. And start to bring that left foot, right foot forward, bend through that right foot, coming up for warrior two. Gaze forward. Inhale to a high lunge, rotating the hips forward. Come onto the ball of that back foot. Move any props out of the way if you're using props. And then bring the palms together to prayer. Bring the weight forward. We'll take the left elbow to the outside of the right knee. Coming into our twist. Pushing through the hands. Bring the weight forward into that right foot. Step that left foot forward. Keep the hips nice and low. And then releasing the arms. Keep the hips low for our chair pose. And then push through the legs, coming up to standing arms down by the side. Maybe releasing the legs out a little bit. Alright, so that's the end of our sequence, our standing sequence. We'll move on to the floor now. To get there, we will take Malasana. So toes can come out so they're mat distance apart. Toes pointing out about 45 degrees. You can bring the hands to the hips. Depends on how your hips are. They might feel nice and open now, so you can just come all the way down to the floor. Bringing the hands in front of the legs and maybe bringing the hands to prayer. You can come onto toes if that feels better for you. You can come up a little bit if you like. If you've got a block, you might even like to try sitting on the block and working here. So wherever you are today, just work in there. This is a really great pose for the digestive system. And it's a pose that we don't often do in Western culture. So just taking a few deep breaths here, letting the breath return to its natural rhythm. We just did quite a challenging standing sequence, really challenging our balance and working the core muscles as well. From here, come down to a seated position, bringing the legs out in front of you. And then just bringing the left leg out, the right leg out. To as wide as feels comfortable for you. Just sitting up nice and straight here. And bring the fingertips out in front. And then bring the left hand in front, right hand behind for a little bit of a twist. Inhale back to centre. And then taking it to the opposite side for a little bit of a twist. Inhale, coming back to centre. And then bring the legs in to seated position. Again, if you have quite tight hips, maybe sitting on a block or a folded towel or blanket. And then from here, we will take the right arm up and then just place that hand on the back of the chest. Try and keep the elbow nice and close to the head. And the right hand can just go on the left shoulder and start to push back, get a nice stretch through the armpit and the arm. And then from here, we'll just start to bring our chest over the left leg. So deepening into that side stretch. And then bring the face forward, so we're facing down, so it's just moving that side stretch around the side of the body. And then just bring the body forward, keep the tailbones seated, grounded to the floor. And then inhale, come back up. Release the arms, maybe give yourself a little bit of a shoulder roll. We'll do the same on the other side, so left arm up this time, placing the palm of the hand on the back, keeping that elbow in, and then with the right hand just gently pushing back on that left elbow. And then from here, we'll just lean over the right leg, get a nice stretch through the side body. And then bring in the gaze forward, notice how the stretch moves. And then just coming around the front. And then inhale to draw yourself back up to centre, releasing the arms down, maybe just giving yourself a nice shoulder roll. And from here we'll make our way onto our back, so just bringing the soles of the feet to the floor, hands can come out in front, palms facing each other, and then just draw the navel in and see if you can come down to the mat with control, bringing the hands up and overhead, stretching out for a full body stretch here. And then releasing the arms and the legs down. Then bringing the soles of the feet on the floor. We'll draw the left leg in towards the belly and then just start to draw that knee in towards the armpit. You might like to extend the right leg if you like, starting to get a stretch in the hip flexors. This is a really good stretch for the digestive system, creating some pressure on the organs in that region. Just remember to keep breathing here. Then bring the left arm out towards the side, palm facing down, right hand to the outside of the left leg, and then just start to draw that left leg across the body, keeping the left shoulder down the floor, so coming into a twist. Gaze can be up towards the ceiling, or you might like to send the gaze out over the left fingertips. And then inhale, coming back up to centre. You can draw the knees in if you like, maybe just give yourself a bit of a rock side to side. And then we'll take that on the opposite side, so right leg in, either with the left knee bent or left leg extended, and start to just draw that knee in towards the armpit. Keeping the toes pulling in towards the knee. And the right arm can come out towards the side, palm facing down, left hand to the outside of the leg, and just start to draw that leg over the body for a nice twist. You don't have to worry about the knee touching the ground here, but if you do have your blocked hand, you might like to place that under the knee, otherwise don't worry too much about it. You might be able to see that I've got quite a distance between my knee and the ground. And the gaze can be up, or you can send the gaze towards the right fingers if you like. And when you're ready, supporting the leg, coming back up to center, drawing the knees in. You can take any final movements that you might like to take, so maybe just drawing some circles with the knees in one direction, maybe just rocking side to side. You can try a happy baby pose if you like, so bring the legs up, the arms come to the inside of the legs and then just grabbing the outside of the feet. Maybe even extending one leg at a time, get a bit of a rock here. That can feel quite nice for the lower back for some people. So just taking any last minute movements that you feel like you need. And then when you're ready, we'll make our way to our final resting pose, Shavasana. So extending the legs out long if you like, or you can have the soles of the feet on the floor, just letting the knees drop in towards each other. Hands can come out towards the side, palms facing up. And we'll just take a moment to let the breath return to its natural rhythm. So you can stay in this final resting pose for as long as you like. And I'll leave you in this pose now, so stay here for as long as you like, otherwise when you're ready just slowly making your way out of the pose. And I thank you for practicing with me today.